Can start the mock, Shivkumar?
Yes, sir, yes.
All right. So, Shivkumar, can you briefly tell me about yourself?
So my name is Shivkumar Gangal. I hail from Vijaypura district from Bijapur. I graduated in mechanical engineering from Dayanand Saga College of Engineering, Bangalore. And my hobbies include reading about Indian epics, gymming, and playing and watching cricket.
All right. So, can you tell us something interesting about your district, Vijaypura?
So Vijaypura was this, uh, so Vijaypura is known for several historical places, particularly the Gol Gumbaz, which has the second largest dome in the world after the St. Rome Basilica, the St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. It also has several other historical sites like Ibrahim Roza, which is said to have inspired the construction of Taj Mahal also. And it has a Jain Basadi called Parshvanatha Basadi, which was constructed 1.5 1,500 years ago. So these are the important places.
All right. Shivkumar, you opted for geology and forest agriculture as a combination of optional, right? So,
Yes, sir.
like generally people go with forestry. Why did you opt for forestry?
Agriculture.
Yes. Why didn't you opt for forestry and opted
Why didn't
agriculture?
So actually, I thought I had some familiarity with agriculture since I was preparing for civil services as well. Since
Okay.
the GS3 syllabus coincided with agriculture, so I thought it would be better to take agriculture.
All right, all right. Shivkumar, if I'm not wrong, this Bijapur district or Vijaypura district is also like it is basically semi-arid area, right? There is not much
Yes, sir.
rainfall
Yes, sir.
in an area. So, like
Yes, sir.
also as a someone who has agriculture optional, you tell me what are the what are the ways three or four ways in which you can augment water resources of Vijaypura district.
Firstly, there is need to increase the water harvesting capacity of the district. Most of the rain which takes place during the summer season, it actually just runs off and eventually drains into some rivers. So, firstly, there is need for increasing the rain harvesting capacity, and secondly, there is need for this groundwater recharge as well, uh, which can also be which also is a part of this rainwater harvesting. And thirdly, the need through afforestation and other tree plantation drives, the water recharging capacity can also be increased. So this way, the water charge can be increased.
So, how afforestation increase water capacity in an area?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get your question.
How afforestation or plantation increase the water in an area, or it helps with water
So,
augmentation?
so afforestation increases the infiltration capacity of the soil. It increases the permeability of the soil, and through improvement in the soil structure and soil texture, so the absorption, the infiltration gets better. So this way the groundwater recharge will also improve.
All right. Okay. So, Shivkumar, you are also interested in reading about Mahabharata and Ramayana. So,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me what is Yaksha Prashna?
Yaksha Prashna were the questions asked by Yaksha in the disguise of were asked by Yama in the disguise of Yaksha to Yudhishthir while they were in exile during the after they were thrown out of the kingdom during when Yudhishthira lost the gambling.
Okay. So, you tell me who won the battle of Mahabharata.
Pandavas won the battle.
So, like, was it an ethical battle?
So there have been there are several ethical issues which were involved in the Bharata, but in this battle, but the purpose for why it was fought makes it all the more is very much justifies the consequence of the battle. So it was fought for the righteous ends, although means employed were somewhat off the way. So the ends justify the means here. So
So, like, in your opinion, should the end justify the mean? Like, firstly, tell me three instances where some kind of trickery was done in Mahabharata.
firstly was the first one was employed by Lord Krishna just before the beginning of the battle when he disclosed the birth secrets of Karna just before the battle, so as to make him lose his that mental calmness and make him weak by his own mental capacity. And secondly, uh, when Pandavas could not slay Bhishma on the 10th day, uh, Krishna himself takes up the weapon which he had earlier taken an oath not to take to, and then gives a sermon in the battlefield to Bhishma to give up his weapons. Which in ideal case it should have been a war between the warriors, but he convinces Bhishma to give up his weapons. That was the second thing, and third one was uh, during the during the killing of Dronacharya when the Pandavas and including with Lord Krishna made a plan to announce that made a plan to announce that Ashwatthama, an elephant, was died, so as to weaken the mental state of Dronacharya. So in this way, these are the three things which I can remember.
Yes. So like you mentioned, there were lies, there were deception, even
Yes, sir.
deployed by Pandavas. So can we
Yes,
say
sir.
that even the Pandavas were unethical?
Most of the so just on the basis of three or four incidences, we cannot judge them as unethical. Like right since the beginning of the epic till the end, they have been ethical in most of the instances. They like cheerfully and graciously accepted all the troubles that were thrown at them. Like they never in spite of them having the right to rule Hastinapur, they forgave it just for the just to keep the entire kingdom uh, good in good hands. Uh, this is the one thing, and secondly, the purpose of the war was to establish dharma, which is righteousness. So that itself more than surpasses all the uh, unethical things, the minute unethical things that they might have committed during the course of war.
All right. So, Shiv Kumar, suppose there is an administrator. He's a very efficient, very honest person in general, right? And he also engage in a very good governance administration of a district, right? But maybe 3 4 times in his career he has engaged in some kind of, some kind of, maybe a little bit of bribe taking, or maybe some kind of, misgivings here and there. So based on its overall track record that he is giving very good governance, he is a very honest and efficient administrator, but he has just made few mistakes. Should action should be taken against him or not when these 3 4 misgivings come out in the public?
So actually, I feel the action should be taken against him. We should have zero tolerance to this corruption and any form of bribe taking. So action should be taken against him, and he should be held responsible for all the misdeeds that he might have committed.
Mm, okay. So, like, all right, that's it for my side for time being. All right, I'll come back to you later. Right, over to Lawrence sir for now. Thank you.
Good morning, Shiva.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Okay, so we will continue on this theme a little bit of Mahabharata.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me some similarities between, let's say, the events that take place in Mahabharata and between what we see in Bible?
Mahabharata and Bible.
Yes.
I don't. I have not specifically gone through Bible, but I do know some instances, but I don't know if they are correct. So if you permit me, I can say them.
Yes, definitely.
So first, so exactly Bible. So I don't know if Hercules is part of this Bible. Achilles and Hercules.
No, no, no. Those are part of
I'm
Greek
not aware.
gods,
So I'm not aware.
Greek
Sorry.
mythology.
I'm
Okay.
very sorry. I'm very sorry.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Also, Gita tells us the message that we should do our karma, okay, without keeping in
Yes.
mind the result part of it. Okay. So you are right now. What is? Can you explain me what is your karma at this moment?
So my karma is to prepare for the examination with due diligence and as much effort that I can do without any expectation of the result.
But do you worry about the result? Do you expect? Do you have
Those
expectations
thoughts,
yourself?
So in ideal condition, there shouldn't be any attachment to the result. There has to be absolute detachment. So, but as we human beings, we do have our own follies and faults. So we can't follow it 100%. So there is a bit of expectation from my side.
So when Lord Shri Krishna he suggests that you this is an ideal path which you can follow. Okay, so does he understand this part that by very nature humans can have like those expectations and those worries? And if yes, does he suggest anything to overcome those?
In Mahabharata, like Krishna knows that this cannot be followed 100%, especially when he gives this, he will be aware of the fact that after the war gets over, the next stage, which will be the Kali Yuga, will be full of faults and all those like unethical acts, it will be full of unethical acts. So he knew that people won't be able to follow all these things in 100%. But as like since they cannot follow as a as a like as a measure to overcome all these unethical acts, he like as much as possible he prefers to do one's karma rather than like uh, that's it. I'm not able to
So how many types of karma does Shri Krishna define?
karma. Like, first one is nishkama karma, which is nothing but the karma yoga. uh, Sorry, sir, I can only recall that.
Okay, no problem. Let's now move on to a little bit of agricultural theme. Can you tell me what is nitrogen fixation?
Yes, sir. So basically, nitrogen in its pure form cannot be absorbed by the plants. Hence, the plant needs the assistance of certain microorganisms to convert it in the form in which it can be absorbed. So this process of conversion of nitrogen into a form in which it can be absorbed by the plants is called the nitrogen.
So what are the processes in nature by which this is done?
First one is the nitrification process, which is carried out by Azotobacter and Pseudomonas, in which the pure nitrogen is converted into nitrates, and then through another process, nitrates are converted to nitrites. So in this form, the plant actually absorbs the nitrogen.
Are there any other processes other than, let's say, bacterial mediated nitrogen fixation?
Lightning is also another media through which the nitrogen fixation takes place,
Okay,
but
yeah,
in the rare
got it.
cases.
Okay. When we use fertilizers, okay, what are the three main components of a standard fertilizer?
Nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus.
Okay. Can you explain the use of each of these components to plants?
Okay, so nitrogen is required for the plant to manufacture chlorophyll, which is uh, because of and only because of chlorophyll can the plant take part in the photosynthesis process. Phosphorus is necessary for cell growth and cell enlargement, and potassium. Uh, I cannot recall it. No, sir, sorry.
Okay. And proteins are what is the major component of proteins? They have like carbon and hydrogen, but they also have nitrogen as well. So not just chlorophyll, even general proteins, they would need some nitrogen at least. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So in your area, what is the main way in which irrigation is carried out?
It's mostly through Almaty dam sites, through a dam, through a reservoir called Almaty Dam.
Okay. Uh, and what about like in northern parts of India, let's say Punjab, Haryana, those areas? Do you know what are the main processes of irrigation over there?
So in the parts of Uttar Pradesh, it's mostly well irrigation, tube well irrigation.
Mhm.
The same goes with Punjab and Haryana as well.
What
Where the
which one is
groundwater is
better?
extracted.
Which one is
Among
better?
which, so,
So
uh,
I'm asking like for maintaining soil quality soil fertility. Let's say, let's forget about depletion of groundwater resources. For maintenance of soil fertility, which type of irrigation is better? So using, let's say, canals, rivers, or using groundwater.
So all of these factors have their own merits and demerits. So like in first thing with groundwater recharge, with respect to using the groundwater, one thing is there is depletion of groundwater. Second thing is there will be accumulation of salinity in this in the soil areas. And thirdly, these are the main factors here. And when it comes to canal irrigation, uh, the most of the times the water which reaches these agricultural areas is often polluted. So there is a risk of this pollutants getting assimilated by the plants. So this is one is a factor
Why
that I can.
is why is it like salinification more of an issue with groundwater rather than surface water?
Salinity. It is basically because of the capillary action. So whenever the uh, groundwater groundwater because of the usage gets depleted, then the water which is rich in salts rises to the surface of the soil through capillary action.
Why will salt water rich in salts rise? I mean, salty water, if salinity increases, it becomes heavier.
Yes, sir.
Why will it rise up in that case? In general, groundwater has more salinity than surface water. Do you know
Yes, sir.
that? In
Yes,
general,
sir. Yes.
if you take water
Yes.
from river versus groundwater, it's even if there is no capillary action, in general, groundwater will have more salinity than surface water. Why does
Yes,
groundwater
sir.
have more salinity? Do you know that part?
It's because the groundwater is in contact with several rocks, which have several other minerals, like the salty minerals and all. So that makes the
Yeah.
water salt rich.
Yeah, and it also has something to do with residence time also. Groundwater stays in
Yes.
contact for a much longer time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are some of the challenges in agriculture which Karnataka is facing currently?
The first one is excessive dependence on the southwest monsoon. The only 30.1% of the gross cropped area is actually irrigated. This is the first thing. And secondly, the Karnataka has a huge proportion of the small and marginal farmers who doesn't have the capital to invest in any productive technology and improve their agriculture. Third one is Karnataka has this marketing issues, like there are a lot of intermediaries between the farmers and the final buyer, which robs the farmer out of any remunerative prices. Fourth one is lack of access to institutional credit to the farmers. Most of the small and marginal farmers often take the credit from like the financiers, who often charge them exorbitantly, and when they don't give the money, they often like they take the land, deprive them from the land, which leads to landlessness also. So these are the main.
So the government had basically proposed those farm laws. Okay, there were
Yes.
protests in several parts of the country. What is your view on that? Would it have helped with the issues that you just cited, with presence of intermediaries and maybe providing more opportunities to farmer to access the markets?
So farm laws were good in intent actually. They were framed after giving due deliberation to all these issues actually, to these issues. Firstly, they would have eliminated many of the intermediaries who are between the farmer and the final buyer. They would have enabled the farmers to come in contact with the food processors and other bulk buyers, which would have guaranteed them the remunerative prices through through the mechanism called contract farming. They would have also got the access to better technology and inputs. Uh, so this issue of agriculture marketing would have been solved through this. Um, so
What were some of
that's
the grievances that were put forward by the why were the farmers angry basically if it was like all good?
firstly was there was lack of this trust among the farmers. They like because of certain incidents, like they thought that there was lack of proper communication from the part of the government initially. The farmers were not taken into confidence. They were not made to realize the benefits of this farm laws. As a result, the farmers like they protested.
one of the things like that, always one of the issues in trust was many farmers did not trust the intentions of big corporations, and they were citing several other areas in which at the start they said it will be more technology, it will improve your earnings, kind of like what happened with Ola, Uber. Initially the drivers were getting a lot of remuneration, and slowly as they established in the market, and their sort of like remunerations decreased, they came under more stress, their life became more, it became less relaxed. So the farmers were also pointing to like some similar grievances. Do you think such grievances have any merits?
Yes, they definitely do have the merits. Like their grievances is basically based on their past experiences. There is actually huge power asymmetry between the big corporates and the farmers. Like even if they get into contract, sometimes they may have to go to the courts, and at that time, like corporates have that political and economic muscle to like get the cases in their favor. So the farmers were actually in the apprehension of these things. Like they may be like thrown into okay, a situation of landlessness, and corporates not honoring the commitments of the agreement.
My final question to you would be, if you were to like propose those farm laws again, what would you do differently if you have the power?
So firstly, I would have called a meeting of all the leaders of all the important farmer groups. I would have explained them about the merits of all these formulas and how these merits have the potential to solve many of the issues which are plaguing the agriculture currently. And secondly, I would have convinced them about the urgent need of these reforms. Like many of the earlier governments had also planned the reforms on the similar lines. But
But
I
this
will
communication thing, the government also tried very hard. Like it's not that this thing was not tried to communicate what are the benefits and all. So that's not something that you would bring some that is new. That was already being tried a lot.
So I think like when the farm laws were actually passed in the initial phase, then there was no effort from the government to convey the same to the farmers. Only after the farmers had assembled at the protest sites, and when they had made up their minds that like the government is against them and the laws were not in good intention, only then the government tried to alleviate their grievances. But what government could have did differently was that they should have brought everyone into confidence in the beginning itself, even
And in
before
the
the
beginning
passing of
itself, if
laws.
let's say in the beginning if itself the farmers do not agree, that they say like there is no way they want these laws, so then what would you do?
So I would have made like every effort from my side to convince them, so because it was urgently needed, because we need to step ahead here through this,
It's like
Okay,
like we had to
Shivkumar, that is,
move ahead.
yeah. All right, that's all from my side. Okay, over to you,
Abhishek sir.
Abhishek sir.
Good morning, Dev.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
How was your morning?
It was good, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Did you have breakfast?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay, okay. Okay. You are from Karnataka, right?
Yes, sir.
How many national parks are there in Karnataka?
So Karnataka has 5 national parks.
Okay. Have you visited any one of them?
So I've recently visited Bannerghatta
Okay,
National
okay.
Park.
What was the most important species there?
The most important were tiger, leopard, sloth bear, Asian elephants, sambar deer. These were the
Okay.
most important.
Which river flow through this national park?
Uh, I don't think any river flows through Bannerghatta.
Okay, okay, no problem. Have you heard about ESZ,
Yes, sir.
eco-sensitive zone?
Eco-sensitive zones. Yes, sir.
Right. What is it?
The eco-sensitive zones, they are the eco-sensitive zones are the buffer areas which are created around the national parks and other protected areas, so as to protect the fringe communities, so as to protect the animals and other wildlife which reside in the buffer areas, and also to act as a wildlife corridors to the wildlife which are moving from one national park to other national park.
Okay. Are there any territorial limit on this?
It's it should be, in ideal case, it has to be around 10 kilometer from the protected areas. But if the need arises, then they can increase it beyond 10 kilometers.
Okay. Tell me, there were two committees formed on the Western Ghat,
Yes, sir.
right? Can you
Yes.
name them?
So there are Kasturi Rangan Committee and Madhav Gidgil Committee.
Okay. According to you, which committee should government adopt?
I think the government should go with the Kasturi Rangan Committee. Like it had proposed, it has proposed to declare 36% of the entire Western Ghats as the eco-sensitive zone, whereas Madhav Gidwil Committee was, I don't remember the exact number, but it was much more than 36%. So if we adopt the Kasturi Rangan Committee, like, there will be scope for both development and environment conservation to go together. But in the case of Madhav Gidwil Committee, so it preferred environment conservation over development. So there was no scope for both the things to go hand in hand.
Okay, good. Okay, you play cricket,
Yes, sir.
right? Why cricket, not football?
Like I have been interested in cricket cycle right since the childhood. Like, I got exposure to cricket. I got only exposure to cricket, not for
So
football.
why cricket is more popular in India?
Cricket had its beginnings during the British era as well. Like Indians had started to play cricket at the start of 20th century itself, while football was relatively later introduction, and also because of the British legacy. So like England was the country which actually invented cricket. Hence, since there was actually that it echoed the same in India as well. So it had earlier beginnings in
But football
India.
also originated in England, right?
So, yes, sir. I'm not aware of that.
Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, you have done your graduation from mechanical engineering, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can you tell me the third law of thermodynamics?
So for every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry, sir. We knew it. Actually, sorry, sir. I'm unable to
okay,
recall.
no problem. What is an octane number?
So octane number is a measure of the efficiency of a petrol engine. I'm not aware, sir. Sorry.
Okay, okay,
I
no
can't
problem.
recall it at this moment.
Okay, no problem. Okay, my last question to you. You read about Ramayana Mahabharata, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think it's a real story?
I think it lies somewhere between mythology and history. Like we cannot completely label it as mythology because there have been several evidences which are found throughout the length and breadth of the country, which prove that some incident of this sort has happened. But maybe the incidents which have been narrated in the story, they might have been exaggerated through the time. So I feel it lies somewhere between mythology and history. And yes, sir.
Okay, in these stories, we frequently find the term asur, right?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear.
In these stories, we frequently find the term asur mentioned in the.
Asur, yes, sir. Asur.
Is it
Yes, sir.
something to do with the Asur tribe?
Which tribe, sir? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Asur tribe. Asur tribe presently resides in Jharkhand, Bihar, right?
No,
Have you?
sir, I don't think there was any connection between. Asurs it was a label generally applied to any person like who was evil in character, who lacked any ethics and morals. It can be even humans also.
Okay, okay, okay. That's all from my side. Over to you, researcher.
Good morning, Shiv.
Good morning, sir.
So, you mentioned about mythology and history. So, what
Yes.
is the difference between mythology and history?
The mythology, it has resemblance with the word mithya in Sanskrit. Mithya means something that is a lie. So mythology can be a pure imagination of the poet itself, but history is something which is an actual occurrence. History is it's also called itihasa. So in Mahabharata, like Vyasa, while in the beginning of the writing of the epic, he mentions it to be an itihasa. So yes, sir. That's the difference between mythology.
So,
and
in
and
one,
also history is something that is yes,
yeah, go ahead.
history is also something that is documented, so well documented, and is cross verified by several historians, archaeologists, geologists, etc.
So there has been several evidences like Ram Setu,
Yes, sir.
okay, which justifies that yes, Ramayana was a history also. So do you agree on
Yes.
that?
So just based on the existence of Rama Setu, we cannot say that Ramayana is a history. But there are several other mentions in the Ramayana which can bring it closer to what we can call as history. But just through Rama Setu, we can't call it because like geologists say that it can be like a natural formation as well.
Okay. So how the character of Lord Ram can help you in becoming a very good IFS officer? What inspiration can you take from his character?
Firstly, the sheer duty consciousness, irrespective of the any trouble that was thrown at him, he was always duty conscious. As a son, as a father, as a king, he had always discharged his duties selflessly. And secondary, uh, is like never complain attitudes. Even in this case, like irrespective of the troubles that were thrown at him, he just accepted them and did what he can do the best.
Can we go more specific, like few instances where he helped the tribals or maybe the coexistence with the nature, animals, or something like that?
Actually, Ramayana and Mahabharata, both of them are replete with, like, they're completely ridden with the instances where where there is this ecological harmony between man and nature. Uh, Firstly, with respect to the tribals, there is instance of Sabari, who is said to be from the Bil tribe, who meets Lord Rama, who was waiting for Lord Rama from a number of years to greet him and to offer her hospitality. This was the first thing. Like here, Sabri actually offers a half-bitten fruit just to ensure that she gives only the good taste fruits, like sweetest fruits to Lama. She gives a half-bitten fruit, but Rama consumes it in spite of Lakshmana's insistence that he should not consume them. This is the first thing, and like most of the characters of like Ramayana, like most of them are the either animals, birds, and rivers, and some of them have far superior and nobler qualities than humans, which very much which in itself proves that like they were held in high regard compared to man as well.
And can you tell us when is this Engineers Day celebrated?
I think it's on September 28th, so on the birthday of Vishweshwara.
I guess it's 15th September.
Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Remember.
you play cricket as well.
Yes, sir.
So there have been two players who have played six World Cup editions. Okay, from India.
Yes, sir.
Can
From
you
India.
name them? Yeah, Indian players.
So firstly, it is Sachin Tendulkar, the first one. Uh, Second one, I cannot recall, sir. Sorry.
You can go across genders as well.
So it's Mithali Raj, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So who was the founder of this Bahmani kingdom?
How many? I'm unable to recall. Uh, Sorry.
Okay. And who was the founder of this Vijayanagar kingdom?
Vijayanagara, Harihara, and Bukka were the founders.
Okay. And who was the Mughal contemporary of Krishna Dev Rai? Which
It
ruler?
was uh, it was Babur, sir. When Babur invades India, he mentions that Krishna Deva Raya was the most powerful leader in entire country.
Okay. And so your father is in police service. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So what aspect of his service make you admire the service? Can you tell us two positives and two negative aspect of this police service?
of police service or of my father's. Like,
Yeah, your father is DSP, no?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Like, should I say about my father's two positives or of police service?
no police service. You have witnessed his working
Yes, sir.
and all since childhood. So
Yes, sir.
aspect of police service.
The first thing is that the connection with the grassroots, sir. The police are always in touch with the grassroots people, and they are better situated to know the grievances of the public. That's the first thing. And secondly, they have that power to impact and change their lives as well. so they can see that justice is served to them, like uh, which no other department can actually do it. That's the second. That's those are 2 points. The weakness is the lack of balance between the personal and the professional life. That's the first point I would like to say. Second is like the police have been known for their human right violations, this custodial torture, and this is the second, corruption and all this.
Okay. Okay. That's over from my side, sir. Now over to you, Satvik, sir.
Thank you, Meg. Good morning, Shiv.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Too much of Ramayana and Mahabharata, right? Have you
Yes,
heard
sir.
of NTFPs?
Yes, sir. Non-timber forest produce.
Yes. So we will also start with Ramayana. So when Ram
Yes,
started
sir.
his journey
Yes, sir.
from Ayodhya to Tamil Nadu,
Yes, sir.
tell me the types of NTFPs he must have eaten on the way.
Non-timber forest produce. Oh,
He resided inside forest, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So obviously he must have eaten something which was there in the forest.
Yes, sir. He basically ate these fruits, all
Tell
those
me the
roots,
names.
tubers,
See,
and
Shiva, we are talking about NTFPs. This is not like Shabri ke fruits. This is, we need some substance here.
sorry, sir, I can't specifically remember this.
Okay. You can make a guess also.
Sorry, sir, I can't remember.
Okay. Other similar question. When he started his journey,
Yes, sir.
again from Ayodhya to Tamil Nadu, types of forests as per champion and said, he must have traveled. Can you tell us?
So, firstly, for the first place that he visited from Ayodhya was actually Chitrakoot. So, Chitrakoot has a tropical moist deciduous forest. From Chitrakoot, then he moves on to the Dandakaranya forest, which is in which expands over Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Telangana. So it is a mixture of this dry deciduous forest, moist deciduous forest. And from Dandakaranya forest, he moves to Panchavati, which is presently called as Nashik. So even that place is it lies in the Western Ghats. So there is a portion of semi-evergreen forest as well as this moist deciduous forest. From then he comes to this Kishkinda, which is in Karnataka. Here it is mostly the scrubland, tropical thorn forest, and dry deciduous forest. From here he moves on to Tamil Nadu.
And in Tamil Nadu, what did he see?
Tamil Nadu, like it can be dry evergreen forest in the eastern part of the Tamil Nadu, near the Rameswaram place.
That is near the coastal area. That is not the whole Tamil Nadu ship.
Yes, sir, but eventually reaches that coastal area for his
Eventually.
journey to Lanka.
What is the year of Kyoto Protocol?
Kyoto Protocol. I don't remember. Sorry.
Do you know how many countries have signed?
Sorry, sir. I don't remember exact number.
Can you explain the difference between dry sal and wet sal?
Sorry, sir. I couldn't get your
The
question.
difference between dry sal and wet sal.
Sorry, sir. I didn't. Sorry.
It's okay. Have you heard the term eutrophication?
Yes, sir. Eutrophication. Yeah. So it is.
Uh, what is it?
It is actually the increase in the nutrient content of the river, like water bodies, like rivers, lakes, because of the drainage of the fertilizers and the pesticides, and also the waste from the cities.
So how do you treat it?
Uh, so, firstly, first one is the sewage first. I can't exactly. Sorry.
Have you heard the term exotic species?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Could you name some exotic trees in India?
Exotic trees. So First, eucalyptus is one exotic species. Second one is casuarina. Uh, that's all I can remember.
Casuarina.
Yes.
And haven't you heard any other term? You have agriculture option and all those things. There are so many exotic trees.
I can only remember this one. Sorry, I'm very.
Okay. If I ask you to go for sal afforestation,
Yes, sir.
how would you go about it?
Sal afforestation. Like sal afforestation.
It's okay.
Sorry, sir. I
What
can.
What is the definition of crop?
Crop is crop is a plant which is uh, which is consumed by the person to meet his food security.
That is the definition, Shiva.
Uh, I cannot remember this technical definition. Sorry.
Have you visited any national park?
Yes, sir. It's Bannerghatta National Park.
Where is it?
It's nearby Bangalore, sir.
Any other?
Around for 20 kilometers. I only visited this once. I'm planning to visit it.
Okay, so my last question to you, Shiv, or second last, I will just wrap it up. When you say this Ramayana, Mahabharata, you see the difference in colors of Krishna's idol across country. Somewhere it is blue, somewhere it is white, somewhere it is black. What could be the
Yes, sir.
reason?
Uh, it it can be because of the way people saw Krishna in different ways. Like there was flexibility in this culture in the way Krishna can be adopted by different people. In Puri Jagannatha, it's actually completely black. In Mathura, it is white. Uh,
No, no.
so
That
the
is what I'm asking. Why?
yes, sir.
Why did people see him as black? Why did some people see him as white?
I think it's because of the flexibility of interpretations. There is actually like debates around what exact color he was like. So people saw their own like they imagined him to be a part of themselves. So they projected their aspirations and values in him, and they molded him according to their own wishes. And
Color,
maybe
Shiva, I'm talking about color. I'm not talking about personality here. I'm talking on the scientific lines. Why do we have Krishna and Puri as black? Because we have black stone. In North India, South India, people see one person sees as white, one person sees as black because you find black stone there. When you start seeing marble, then you start seeing Krishna as a white person. It's very simple.
yes,
If you think
I was
on
not
that
aware of
lines, it's very simple. It's okay.
that.
Thank you,
Uh,
Shiva. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank
So thank you, Shiva. I think your mock is over. You can please leave the call for a few minutes. Then we'll